What's up Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm just gonna update you guys on what's going on in the garage. I haven't been working for a couple of days in here, so there is some cleaning up need to do, and I'm going to start by disassembling the gearbox and the clutch from the B235R that was in this car right here, and switch that for the B234 that's on the engine stand right now. So the empty block I will put down somewhere safe in the garage and move the T7 engine onto the engine stand. Then we are going to continue by disassembling some of the stuff that's on the car right now, the brakes and a little bit, and I will share my thoughts on the steering rack and possible opportunities, or what I should say, on how to place the engine. So that will be quite exciting. So let's get it going. So as I said, we will start by disassembling the gearbox and trade places with the fresh engine block for this engine right here, so we can disassemble some parts from this one. So I'm going to reuse the head on this one, but it's going to get some work done or carried out, and the work on this head is going to be done by a very famous Saab tuner. So stay tuned for that. I will not tell you who it is right now, but when the time has come you will know. And the hubs, the original hubs, is at my boy Gerard's place, and he is going to press out the original bearings. And here we have the new part that is going to be a key part. So this is 5x110. It's from the Opel Omega, and you can see that the height is very much the same. Some minor adjustments needs to be done, but I think this will be more or less like a bolt-on solution. So here we have the drive shaft. So on the Opel Omega you have like what do you call it? Well, there is a part connecting to this one right here, and it has the splines in it. So you put this on the car together with the wheel bearing, and then put a nut that will lock in the wheel bearing right here, and then connect it to the drive shaft on the back side of the brake disc. So this will be really nice, and it's quite sturdy as well, which will be really nice for the power that we are going after. And you can see that the pistons are missing here, so they are currently being machined 1.1 millimeter to fit with the T7 gasket. And a few episodes ago we removed the fuel tank, so now it's empty, and the differential is going to be placed right here. So the new fuel tank is going to be placed right here, and that we have right here. I have not picked it in yet, I just washed it off, but you can see the design of this one. I thought it was flat before, but it's actually space for the spare tire, or the spare tire. And you have the fuel filler cap right here, which goes to the exact same spot as the original. So the filler cap will come out right here and go down, and then the tank will sit down here. So we might need to do some modification of this right here, but otherwise it should be placed like very close underneath the spare tire, so I don't think we will need to cut that away. or we have to do some like minor modifications to it, but it's really okay. So let's start by just disassembling the gearbox, and then we will take it from there. So the gearbox and clutch came off. It was a little bit of a mishap since I had like the engine lower down. I missed one of the 11 millimeters that sits underneath. So I almost got it out, but there was something holding on. And it should be really easy to get the gearbox out and get it in. It shouldn't be using like excessive force or anything, then something is wrong. So just be gentle and try to wiggle and pull. But now it's out, and here you can see the difference. So this is the flywheel for the B235R. And this is the flywheel for the B234. So there is quite some difference. I don't know why it's made up like this, but I guess it has something to do with the gearbox and play, etc. So the gearbox for the B235R is a little bit more deep in, and that is one of the issues with the gearbox that I'm running. I'm running the BMW GS37. I can't remember the correct name for it, but it's a 6-speed for a diesel BMW, and this flywheel is a must to use, otherwise it will collide with like the pressure plate and everything. It builds up too high, because in the BMW gearbox there is like at one spot there is a little tab that just sticks out way too far, and the material of that little tab that goes out is like 1 millimeter, so nothing can interfere. Then you will have a leakage and the gearbox will be broken. So it's a must for me, at least, to run this flywheel. But I will run this flywheel together with a clutch plate that is for a BMW, so we get the correct splines, but it will still be a 240 millimeter clutch, same as this one. And I think we are going to either run like a brand new OEM pressure plate, or we will get like a reinforced for some better pressure, so we can hold up the power that we are going to make a little bit easier. Because I don't know exactly if you run like a sintered clutch together with the OEM pressure plate, I think you can achieve like 550-600 Newton meters or something like that. I think we will need a little bit better, but everything costs money, and that's when you start to build this kind of engine and stuff, everything costs money. So I will definitely need some good sponsors to get this build through. And I got some really kind people around me, like trying to help and wanting to send stuff, and that's highly appreciated. So I got one shipment from Daniel in Germany coming up, which will be very, very useful for this build, and will save up some money for me to put money into other things, so that's really nice. We have Gerard that's helped me with a lot of parts for the rear wheel drive, the Opel parts. Of course I have paid for them, but he has been really kind and given me good price on the parts. So that is also a must to be able to achieve this in a short amount of time. And I would really, really like to have like some support of the bigger like shops in Sweden that sell Saab parts, because I think we really need some new like trailing arms and just freshen up stuff. Everything can't be just blasted and painted. Some of these need to be replaced for new ones. But that's it on the clutch situation, and a little bit more. Got a little bit carried away. But now we are going to place this engine down somewhere safe and switch to the other one. I will try to make this as smooth as possible. This is not too easy, we have stuff everywhere, but I need to clean up, and lucky for you this is the movie, so it's quite easy to make this change. Just as simple as that, and everything is fixed, no problems. So we got the engine onto the engine stand, and now we need to start to disassemble. Of course we could just go ahead and disassemble the engine again, but I don't want to do that right now. I want to continue on with some parts right here. So just clean up some parts, like the rear engine mount, we don't need that anymore. And a lot of other stuff. I'm going to disassemble the brakes, brake lines, get most of the parts off, and then we will see what to do. And I will probably not film that because this is just a hassle with all rusty stuff that needs to come off. And I'm going to remove the struts as well, because I'm just going to clear some space, and then we will see what to do. So this is the first little test with this ID right here. This is a very common mod on rear-wheel drive cars or all-wheel drive cars, that the steering rack sits in front of the engine or slightly underneath the engine. So this might be one possibility. I don't really know right now, but it might be. I have just flipped side on these two. So normally this arm right here sticks out right here. So it's one of the possibilities, as I said. And the oil pan looks a little bit different on different models, but if we manage to place the steering rack right here, we have like 38 centimeters to the end of the engine. And if we take 38 millimeters or 380 millimeters right here, we will end up just at the firewall. And that is the look that I really don't like. So we will see. Of course, for weight distribution it's the optimal thing to get like all the weight behind the front axle. That would be amazing. But right now I don't think that would be the plan. So my thoughts are to lower this instead. On a lot of Volvos like 740 and 940, they have the steering rack inside of the subframe and it sticks out. There might be a possibility to make like room for it tight underneath and then just stick it out, and it can be attached upside down instead, like so. Then it will take minimum space. That might be an option as well, because it's really easy to flatten out this oil pan right here, and then we can have, like, for instance, the steering rack sitting just underneath the engine right here, and then the placement of the engine will be like, yeah, we can probably like move it a little bit forward and down, probably not too much, but hopefully just straightforward. Then we will have at least some space to the firewall. I have to do some thinking right here, because I really like the aesthetic look when you have like a big snail right here top mounted, and the engine sits straight. That is what I like. Might be a possibility to move the steering rack forward and still have like the placement of the steering rack right here. This is the oil pan from the B234. It's a little bit different in design, but pretty much the same. But on this one you can maybe get it even a little bit more back. I don't know. Like 20 centimeters from the edge. If we take like 20 centimeters, we end up pretty nice actually. Then the gearbox will start right here, and then we will have like the back of the engine right here going forward. Then we can keep all these hoses and all the cables and stuff, and then we don't have to modify anything for the heating. So there are a lot of advantages of building different, but as of right now I'm just throwing around some ideas to make it happen. So I just had to do this to get like the feeling of it, and this is so cool. This is about to get real very soon. So of course it was a lot lower than it is right now. Now it's sky high, but here you get a feeling of it. This is like all the OEM placement. Of course we need to move like the battery and stuff like that, because it won't be very nice having it next to the exhaust, and just probably move it to the other side. And I think the engines should sit something like this, not this far off in the front. Now we have the engine stand, so it of course destroys a little bit of the placement, but let's say 100 millimeters or something like that, closer to the firewall. And I think we will go for the solution to twist the spindles, so we have them like the steering rack placed right here, and then we will aim to get it through the oil pan without like having to modify it. Maybe just cut it off to make it more flat, but even though, like, aim to get it, and I think it will be just perfect. Then we will have great like availability to the engine to like service the gearbox. The gearbox could be taken down very easily, and the thickest part of the gearbox is closest to the engine, so I think we will be able to keep a lot of stuff that is attached right now. Of course the weight distribution will be a little bit too forward, but remember that stock on this car, the whole engine sits in front of the axle. This is the drive shaft and all the weight is in front of the drive shaft. So here we will have like at least the gearbox and some of the engine behind the front axle. So it will be an improvement, but it will not be maybe the best scenario when it comes to weight distribution. But if you doubt the car will have good like drivability, then go watch the Pikes Peak build with Per Eklund and the guys that built a car in like a garage up in Värmland, and their best tools were like this right here. No like precision with micrometers or anything, just a good old, and then like a huge sledgehammer to make everything fit. So you don't have to be like a rocket science and drew up everything in CAD and stuff like that, have everything 3D printed. It works like this. It's just simple and practical. Just make it fit so it doesn't rub against anything. Make some good engine mounts and this will be perfect. So the camera is running out of battery and I'm running out of battery. I need to get some well needed rest right now and take a shower. It's well after midnight right now as I'm recording. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, it means a lot to me. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!